An unmanned aircraft today dropped explosives on a base in the Salahdin province north of Baghdad, belonging to an Iran-linked Shiite paramilitary group, killing at least one person. This, according to Iraqi army sources, who also identified the fatality as a Hezbollah operative. But no one has claimed responsibility for this attack. Well, let's go to Baghdad and speak to journalist Pesha Magid. And Pesha, what are you hearing about this attack? And also, what can you tell us about this base that was supposedly bombed?
Well, nothing is completely clear yet. All that's clear is that at least one person is dead. The base belonged to Hashd al-Shabi brigade, an Iranian-backed militia group. And the news about which brigade it was exactly is a little bit confusing. Some people are saying that it was Lebanese Hezbollah, and another military source is saying right now that it was the Turkmen brigade. But in either case, they're both being linked to Iran. And in terms of who did it, no one's really sure. The U.S. coalition has come out and stated that they definitely were not involved. But aside from that, no one's come forward to take responsibility for the attack.
Right. Now, these Iraqi militia groups linked to Iran have also been linked to, for example, attacks directed against the Green Zone, where the U.S. Embassy is located. Is there speculation there possible? It could be someone either working on behalf of the U.S. or maybe even perhaps on behalf of Israel, which has been known to strike, for example, deep into Syria.
I mean, there's definitely speculation going around, but nothing is confirmed as of now. But I mean, it's very clear this is coming at a time of heightened tension between the U.S. and Iran. And as you said, there have been attacks in the past few weeks. There was the attack on the Green Zone, and then also a few weeks ago, there were attacks on some U.S. bases in Iraq. So it's unclear. The U.S. coalition has stated that, like, unequivocally, that they are not involved. But aside from that, it's possible that it could be either one of those parties, but I wouldn't feel comfortable saying for sure at this point.
Okay, Pesha Magid in Baghdad, thank you for that. Let's go now to our defense correspondent, Jonathan Regev, in our Tel Aviv studio. And Jonathan, as you heard, the U.S. firmly denying it was involved here. Now, Israel, of course, has struck deep in Syria at Hezbollah, operatives there, and has talked about even reaching further than that. Is it possible that Israel is linked in some way to this attack?
Everything is possible, and I'll tell you even more, Kalev. It was revealed earlier this week that in that trilateral meeting last month between the national security advisors of Israel, the United States, and Russia, one of the requests of Israel and the United States was to take Iranian presence not only out of Syria, but also from Lebanon and from Iraq. That was one of the requests. Israel saying there is no sense in transferring the Iranian problem from Syria to Lebanon or to Iraq. We want Iran out of the area altogether. Yes, also from Iraq. Does this mean Israel is the one behind the strike? No. And even if Israel, by some way or another, is responsible, this is not something that Israel will acknowledge. But yes, Israel has in the past expressed its concern from Iranian presence in Syria and Lebanon and also in Iraq, where Iran is clearly active.